All right, welcome in. Happy Friday, everybody. It is 10 a.m. on July 31st, last day of July. I can't believe that's true. That went really quick. What's up to everybody in the grounds crew? We are headed closer and closer to the deadline. It's coming up in a couple days. So normally this would have been it today or tomorrow. But I think that this year's deadline's pushed a few days further forward. So hope you guys are doing great. We're going to kick it around. Sorry for no stream yesterday. Needed to go see my parents. Needed to take a day while I can get a day. So got a day. And we'll do the stream today, and then I'll pick back up on Monday when I'm in Texas. But hope everybody's great. Also, I did just get in some Major League Baseballs. So I know I owe Cobra, who I haven't seen in here in a while, a signed ball. So I'm going to send that one off to him soon. And when we get back to doing giveaways, we can do we can maybe do some autographs from me if people are into that. But who knows? All right, see what we got here in the chat, and then we'll get going today. Gyro says he woke up early, can't sleep, but catching the stream is a silver lining. Appreciate that. I am happy to be your silver lining here. Good morning to everybody, all the usuals. I see a lot of people in here. Carl, Ron, Victoria, Carlos. Wants to look at Roki again. Did Roki, I guess he did pitch last night. I'm not even up to speed on what happened last night. We'll get into all of that in a little while. All right, here's this Scooble question right away here. Do you think the Tigers are going to trade Scooble? So my guess would be yes at this point, but I don't 100% know. The vibe I got when I was in Chicago last week doing the game was that they felt like they were in it, and I think even if they trade him, they're going to still act the same way. But it's tough because you're risking getting very little in compensation for losing him in free agency, and the odds are he's not coming back to the Tigers in free agency. So this is tough. This is a tough one. I'm sure he's out there with packages being presented, and then they'll kind of see where they sit based on offers and all of those sort of things coming up soon. But anyway, appreciate everybody that's here. I'm going to throw this up here from Spectre while I start heading through the standings. All right, so here are our standings as we sit here last day of July. So 2 more months to go in this marathon, 2/3 of the way through it in terms of months. So we're almost to the sprint portion. The dog days are coming. August is a dog days month. It's a little bit of a weird month. And then in September, you get that second wind. All right, Tampa's 3.5 up on the Yankees. The Yankees lost the last 2 to the White Sox, both in kind of not very well played fashion. Tampa took advantage of that and won their last 2. So they're back up 3.5. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They're a sneaky team to look out for in the trade market. They've made some attempts at some trade swings before and have come up empty. But I could see them, if they land somebody, particularly a big-time pitcher, they're going to be a tough out because, Rasmussen's really good and they have that contact, interesting offense with some monsters in the middle, Diaz and Caminero. So they've been in first place in a tough division for a reason. All right, speaking of tough for a reason, it's the Red Sox. They're 20-5 in their last 25. They're about to open up a series here with the Dodgers over the course of this weekend, and then they'll return back to Fenway, I believe. But they just won 2 out of 3 in Sacramento, maybe 3 out of 4 in Sacramento. They've played quite well, as everybody knows. They're now 6 over 500, 7 games back in the division, 2 up in the last spot of the wild card. Orioles are chasing 2.5 back in the wild card, and it looks like Toronto is fully selling, but we'll find out here in the next couple days. All right, AL Central, I mentioned the White Sox won those last 2 against the Yankees. So they did a nice job there. They're in first place, 2 up on the guards. Minnesota just bought A.J. Minter from the Mets, so they have signified that they are going in. So we won't expect any Joe Ryan. We won't expect any Ryan Jeffers going out. We expect them to bring a few people in. I expect if they're going to be bringing people in, it will be more on the pitching side, particularly the reliever side, low-cost side. But they're going for it. They are in. They are 1 out of the wild card, 3 out of the division. They are a 500 team, and they are going. They are going, and they're going to Seattle now. Detroit is the team that's the elephant in the room. They're 7 under 500, 6.5 out of the division, 4.5 out of the wild card. There's so many conflicting things to think about when you're looking at the Tigers right now. So many different things. On one hand, they're not that many games out. On the other hand, they haven't played good baseball. On another hand, they're plus 38 run differential, which is second best in their division, practically the best. So they're looking at that and they're saying, we are better than these other teams. But then there's what happens if we don't make it? Blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. These are tough decisions to make, and some pain will be felt one way or another by the Tigers over the next few days. AL West Rangers, who I'll be in Texas for their game in Arlington versus the Giants this week on ESPN. Excited to check them out. They're in first place, half game ahead of the Astros, 2.5 ahead of the Mariners. Mariners are 3-7 in their last 10. I'm sick of talking about them, but I'd like for them to play a little better because I do think they can play an exciting brand of playoff baseball if they can just get there. But 4 games under 500 is extremely disappointing from the Mariners right now. And we already know about the Rangers and the Astros. They're going to fight tooth and nail for everything they got. The A's and the Angels are out, and they are already trading off pieces. Angels already dealt 2 people to Texas in division, so the Mozeliak takedown is on. NL East, Braves 7-up on the Phillies, who have just played heinous baseball this week. They're in Baltimore, so we'll see if they can turn it around, but they're 7 back now. Marlins have played really poorly, so everybody's kind of gotten cold in this division, and except for the Braves, have bounced back and had a good week, so they're well ahead. Mets, we're expecting more trades. Minter was the first one today. Keep an eye on the Nationals. Curious what they're going to do. NL Central, Brewers 5.5 up on the Cubs. This is the other interesting one, is will the Brewers actually make a big swing? Do they put somebody like Jesus Mate on the table? Do they do some stuff that's a little bit outside of the box for them? We'll see. They do have a great record. They have a big opportunity. They'll likely have to go through LA at some point, but if you're going to have to do that, maybe armor up a little bit. I don't know. Keep an eye on the Brewers. Definitely keep an eye on the Cubs from the pitching department. They're 5.5 back, but they love their position player group. The pitchers need improvement. Pirates are also going to fight tooth and nail for that last wild card spot, but I don't think the Cardinals will. I think the Cardinals will eject guys like Nootbaar or Dustin May off the roster this week, but we'll see. In the West, Dodgers are running away with it. 12 up, 160 run differential. They're honestly, like, through this portion of the season, they're kind of a boring team because there's not a lot to play for them. They're just trying to get their ducks in a row, but keep an eye on them in the deadline. See if they won't make some big-time moves and piss off the rest of the league and armor themselves up for their three-peat pursuit. Diamondbacks are the closest team in the division, 12 back. As for the wild cards, American League, currently it's Yankees and Red Sox headed towards another wild card showdown, but we're ways away from that. Guardians are in, Twins 1 back, Astros 1 back, Orioles 2.5 back, Mariners 3 back, and that's kind of where it goes. So that's the sitch in the wild card. In the National League, it's Diamondbacks and Phillies now have the same record. Wow, that turned around quickly. They are tied for the last 2 spots of the wild card with the Padres chasing. We'll see if, they're probably going to be selling, so that'll be interesting. Pirates, who will be chasing Marlins, they might sell as well. Keep an eye on some of these teams. Padres, Marlins, Nationals, Cardinals over the next few days in the sellers if they want to jump into that side of the market. So that's kind of how I feel about it. All right, let me get back in the chat here for a minute, and then we'll head off to talk about some other stuff. But let me backtrack here in the chat as I just talked for a while. Appreciate everybody who watched the vlog so far. First episode of Side Quest. I'll be vlogging this next trip as well to Arlington and then to Milwaukee, and then I'm going to do Old Timers Day when I participate. So that's pretty much going to be the episode rollout for the first 3 of the vlogs. Took me a year to work it up to actually do it. Something I've wanted to do, but felt overwhelming. But I feel like I was able to do it, keep it relatively doable every week or so, week or 2. So hope you guys enjoy it. We'll see what that does for the channel, and I just have a fun time having some adventures. All right, what else we got here? When will the big trades start? Expect action this weekend. Expect action this weekend, and then definitely a flurry of action on actual deadline day. Why do umpires have numbers? I think it's just for organization, just to keep everything lined up, accounting purposes, and appreciate shouting out my pops. Brewers fan here, stressing what we might give up this deadline. I'm curious as a Brewers fan what it feels like, because you guys have had a nice sustained run of being a really good ball club. Ever since probably like the Yelich trade, maybe even a little before that, you've been a really good team. You've competed. You've been in the postseason a lot. No World Series appearances. You did get to Game 7 of the CS way back in, I believe it was 18. When do you feel like is the right moment to push a few chips further in, or do you continue the cycle of continuing to build forward? I think that's what the Brewers are staring at a little bit here. They had a great record last year, the best record in baseball, and then immediately got swept by the Dodgers. This year, they have the second best record in baseball. They have a lot going for them. They have the freak of all freaks, the Miz. The question is, do they add to that, trying to get over the hump today and punt some of their future, or do they continue to do what they've been doing? And I'm not sure what I would even want as a fan, but I do think at some point you got to go, and I'm wondering if this is the moment. How you take your coffee? So I'm a big espresso guy, mainly just a couple shots of espresso. I like iced over ice as well. I like cold coffees, so mostly espresso, sometimes drip. It just depends. But I'm definitely an espresso guy. All right, what else we got here? Yep, Nolan McLean. I remember I told a lot of people he was going to be just fine. He's been just fine. Appreciate it. What team reminds you of the 24 Mets? I mean, the only team that you can really point to is the Red Sox. I mean, they're hot. They got hot. They were left for dead, and now they're hot and they have vibes. So it would be the Red Sox. Although no teams are ever a perfect comparison. Opinion on the Duran drama from yesterday. Yeah, look, Jarren's having a tough go. This is a tough season. This is just a tough season for him, and back-to-back tough seasons. Obviously, the passion that he plays with is part of what, makes him a good player. But at the same time, it's also it's like they said in Bull Durham, if you play great, then all of your personality is colorful and wonderful. If you play bad, then it's just a distraction and people will want you out of there. So I want to say it's this play, maybe? Yeah, he flies out. Let's see how deep this fly out is that he's pissed that Contreras doesn't go on it.
Get this in the air to left field.
I mean, it's pretty shallow.
Soderstrom makes the catch. Contreras will not test Soderstrom's arm. It was a great throw in, and Jarren Duran.
Let's check out the high home. But yeah, Duran, I guess he wanted the sac fly here, which I don't blame you, but it did seem like perhaps this was a bit shallow. I mean, I don't know. What kind of arm does Soderstrom have out there in left field? Generally speaking, this is a pretty close one, but whatever. He's frustrated, and you can kind of see in the background here, he does a little move here with his hand where he's like, why aren't we going? And he did it twice there, as you can see. So I don't know, a little frustration there. Look, I'm not on the inside. I can't judge it, but with Duran, you're going to have to live with a level of this, a level of that every now and then. Brewers have to go for it eventually. That's how I feel eventually as well. There's no trophies for being competitive, right? I mean, I know that's exciting, probably good for selling tickets, good for building a fan base over time, but at the end of the day, it's about being that last team standing, and at some point, you got to take a swing for that, right? How do you feel about people wanting to trade Duran? Well, first of all, he's at his all-time low in terms of value right now. He's having a horrible season. I know he's 2 years removed from a 9 worst season, which is hard to imagine. But look, he's got a speed power combo. I think sometimes his swing's a little jacked up with the leg kick. I think he's had a hard time with that over the years. Had the leg kick, got rid of the leg kick, brought it back, had huge success with it, but then it's like a hard thing to maintain. I think just the emotional nature of the way he plays sometimes takes him, a little bit out of his head on the, in the batter's box. But there's also a great player tucked inside here. It's just this is the worst he's ever played. 589. Even last year in what was considered a disappointing season, he put up a 774 OPS and was a good, very, very useful winning player. This year, yeah, it's just been rough. I mean, 589 OPS. What do you have? I mean, what do you say about that? You know, just chasing, swinging, and missing a lot. So I think it would be foolish to trade him right now because there's still a big upside in there, and you're probably not going to cash in on that at the right level. But been a little bit of a mystery this year. I also just feel like he's the type of guy where he struggles to turn the page from struggling. Like I think he just digs the hole and beats himself up a little too hard. You got to be nice to yourself sometimes, but listen, it's way easier said than done, and this game will frustrate the crap out of you. There's no doubt about that. I'm worried the Rangers won't squeak in. If they get in, their pitching will be fantastic. Well, they do have, you're right, they have big-time playoff pit performer Evaldi as well as DeGrom. They'll figure out that third spot. The bullpen's been pretty damn good the whole year, and not for nothing. They have a pretty top-heavy but potent beginning of their offense with Langford, Nimmo, Seager when healthy, Young. So there's some things to like about the Rangers. They're not a perfect team, but you know what? They weren't a perfect team when they went in and won the whole thing the last time either, and Chris Young was pretty aggressive at the deadline. That paid off. Let's see what happens again. Will you do trade deadline stream right as the deadline comes up? If not, will you be in the Discord? So I'm on the road this week. I'm not sure what the exact timing is, but I'll probably be doing a stream the day of the deadline or something around it. But we'll definitely get into discuss all that. We'll look at a lot of the returns and we'll try to, make completely unfair snap judgments. What was the coffee setup in New York that you and David Peterson reminiscing about in vlog episode number 1? Yeah, we had a really good setup at the field, espresso setup. Obviously, Lindor's heavily involved in that as well. He's a coffee guy as well. So we had a Rocket espresso machine in there, Cinquanta, when I was there. I think they upgraded since then to a La Marzocco. I think they even had a custom, like really expensive coffee machine and make you all sorts of fancy drinks. So our coffee setup was dialed in. We also had an espresso machine that we would bring on the road as a team and set it up in the weight room or the kitchen. So guys were dialed in, espresso shots were being pulled regularly, and not every team's as locked in as that. So he had to figure out his scenario now with the Cubs. Very simple. The Yankees need Otto Lopez, and the Marlins would love a farm system move. I would love Otto Lopez on the Yankees. I think he would be a great fit for right now. We'll see. All right, what else we got here? Sean Burke, we're probably going to watch him. No, I'll be in Milwaukee for Wednesday's game. I'm not a French vanilla or hazelnut guy. My wife is a hazelnut guy. Do you think the Rangers will trade for another catcher? Do you think Logan O'Hoppe is the future? Well, O'Hoppe has not panned out yet. Still relatively young. Sometimes catchers take longer. They did option him right away. I don't think the Rangers will trade for another catcher right now, but I don't know for sure. The commentators called Soderstrom a Gold Glove arm. He was a catcher. I think he has a decent arm. So yeah, I think Duran was probably wrong there. But, again, you have to realize this is an emotional game. I mean, he's got a couple strikes against him. I get it, but it's just what it is. He might just need this. This is a possibility, but, I played with a lot of guys that you think change of scenery is gonna do something, and mistakes keep getting made. At some point, it's just kind of who you are. I don't know. I like Jarren. Been nothing but good to me, always. And I liked him as a rookie, and I like the passion he plays with, but, he only gets so many strikes, and especially in Boston, they're going to be on you. What happens to Lindor? Nothing. He stays. He's the Mets shortstop. He'll be the Mets shortstop. Would you move Freddie or sign him to a cheaper deal and hope to fix him? So I don't think that a cheaper deal is going to necessarily work out. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's not as gung. I mean, there's so many variables we don't know about. Is Freddie saying he wants a deal, that he wants to stay in New York? I mean, I still like Freddie moving forward. I never wanted to pay him the money that was being floated out there right before his downturn, ironically, but there's a lot of variables, too many variables. The Minter trade has some polar opposite players going to the Mets. Can we take a look at them? Appreciate the love to the vlog. If you haven't seen it, it's up on my channel on YouTube. I would really appreciate it if people would check that out. I'm trying to layer these in a little bit. All right, so this is the Minter trade. Let's see who, see if we can take a quick peek at the return on the Minter trade. Let me get some names, and I know they're from the Twins. And then we'll go see if any of these guys are listed. Billy Amick and Bruin Agbayani. Related to Benny Agbayani by any chance? Bruin Agbayani? Now, are these guys now in Mets? Did they already switch them into Mets prospects, or are they not high enough to be rated? Yeah, well, here's Bruin Agbayani. This is the first one that they got back. Let's check out the bio on new Met farmhand Bruin Agbayani, 19 years old. This is the return for AJ Minter. He was a 6th-round pick in the 25 draft. 50 hit grade, 45 power grade, 55 running grade, 45 arm grade, 45 fielding, overall a 40. Benny Agbayani spent parts of 5 years in the big leagues. So this is his son. The great Met, Benny Agbayani, now his son, Bruin Agbayani, is coming home to the Metros. So if nothing else, it's a good story. Maybe he bangs his way to the big leagues. Signed for $380K, got his feet wet a handful of games. 6'2", Hawaii Gatorade Player of the Year. Good field to hit. Above average speed, seems like that's his best tool. Let's see what his stats were looking like this year at Fort Myers, which is low A now in the Florida State League. He had played very little this season. He only played 5 games last year and only 10 games this year. So not a whole lot to look at here, but he did have a 753 OPS with 11 hits in those first 10 games. He walked 9 times, only struck out 3 times. So far in his pro career, he's walked 16 times, struck out 6 times. So even in a small sample, that looks like a thing. Hit tool, speed tool, maybe a good strike zone judgment tool. Who was this other guy that they got? Billy Amick. Let me check him out on reference. This was a 2nd rounder in 2024 out of University of Tennessee. The Fighting Tony Vitello's, 3rd base and 1st base. Let's see the numbers right now on Amick, who was in AA Wichita this year. He had played 86 games. He's hitting .217, .338, .482 for an .820 OPS. He does have 23 home runs. So corner infielder with pop. 108 strikeouts, 50 walks. Okay. Corner outfielder with pop. Age, 23. So he's a little older. He's a little closer to the big leagues, I would think, but Agbayani's the other piece there. This guy did pretty well. He performed pretty well in the minors, though. So that's interesting. Don't have a ton more information on him yet, but we'll get there at some point. Billy Amick looks good. I think it was a good trade. Let's go Mets. My wife is a hazelnut guy. Hazelnut girl. Excuse me. Sorry. Yeah, I threw with Johnny Galley. Notre Dame commit. All right. Here's a super chat. Could Rockies actually get Arias or Gillen? I don't think they're going to be able to pry Arias away from the Red Sox, if I'm guessing. You know, he's had a huge year. He's super young at a high level. They're gonna point to him as the shortstop of the future. Maybe Gillen, but you know, anytime that you're gonna pry away like a great piece at the deadline, there's gonna be pain involved. So we're gonna find out who's ready to do the pain. You know. I was watching a video about how much luck goes into reliever ERAs, left on base percentage being a big driver of luck. I don't get that, though, because it feels like pitcher can really turn up in situations. 100% pitchers can turn up in those situations and pitch better with guys in scoring position. If you look at my numbers with runners in scoring position for my career, they're way better than not. That's actually a skill. There's strategy there. There's an ability there. And, yeah, there's a portion of it that's luck. Like, if you're running like a crazy high strand rate, probably not totally sustainable forever, but I think making big pitches is a skill. Anybody who's watched Fernando Cruz pitch this year for the Yankees understands that, and maybe this is a bad example because he had a walk-off walk yesterday, but I actually thought it was bad managing in a way because the leadoff intentional walk in the inning that Cruz came in gave him less margin for error to either strike out or walk guys, which is what he's going to do. Anyway, eventually walks in the run. But my point is, you can see guys on base back against the wall. He's one of the most unhittable pitchers ever. Nobody on, it's not the same effect. I was similar to that. This stat, as you're pointing out, doesn't really capture that. My son is 11. Can you send me any pregame arm warm-up and postgame arm care stuff you got? So I'm a big proponent of like a slow build into into a warm-up. Like I like to get the heart rate going first, so it's more about moving around before you ever get the arm involved and kind of get your heart rate going and get a little sweat going. That's great, but if not, just get that loosey-goosey feeling. And then it's the same thing with the arm. You want to work from a heavier ball down to a lighter ball, locking in a couple drills, kind of priming your arm path. And then the way I used to play catch was light on the way out and then pulling down on the way in. Couple throws at flat ground. I never liked my catcher getting down. I like to keep him up on flat ground. I felt like the timing of the foot strike with the hand release was more accurate with my catch partner standing up on flat ground. Try to hit my partner in the chest. Definitely throw a few balls at close to max effort, but don't do a lot of volume with that. So it's a slow build into the process. And on the cool down, when you come out of the game, you want to take advantage of your state that you're in, and you want to continue to stack stress onto that right in that moment. So it's your arm exercises right away, your workout, whatever, your interval sprinting or something like that to get that flush in, and then you want to come down and go into full recovery mode. So sometimes you want to take advantage of the fact that you're already in the heightened state right when you come out of the game. There's a lot more to say about that, but that's an answer right now. All right, another minute in here in the chat, and then we'll get off to watching some games. How valid are the beliefs that the Mets are at fault with Freddie struggling? Don't know, and I'm not going to blame them. The pitcher's always the... Like, I talked the other day about something that I didn't like that the Mets were suggesting to me, but I bought into it. So I'm not blaming them, I'm blaming me. So at the end of the day, pitching, nobody else is out there with you. Of course, it's just, I just don't think it's fair to point blame when we don't know all the answers. All right, that's about what I think. MLB had Amick listed higher than Agbayani last night when they were still in the Twins' top 25. Interesting that they weren't listed there just now on the Mets. Thoughts on Lombard? I think he's going to be a tremendous defender. We don't know about the hitting yet, but he'll be a Yankee pretty soon, and that's why I mentioned I like Otto Lopez as a fit for the Yankees, but I think he could also be like not just a shortstop possibility in the future. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Roki fan here. If you're going to look at the Roki game, please keep in mind that he was cramping in the 6th. Yeah, I got you. Anthony Ianson shove day. He could be a possibility for the Sox late in the year. You wouldn't do Goodman for Arias. Well, I don't have an intimate view of Arias, but how high Arias is on the list, I'd have a hard time. I'd have a hard time giving him up. But if I watched him and I was like, meh, then I'd give him up. It's pretty simple like that. Also, we should watch Edwin as well. There's some games to get back to, Nolan, some things like that. So I'm gonna move myself up a little bit. Oh yeah, the ultimate grand slam. All right, I'm skipping forward. All right. Let's go check the coffee cups, and then we'll get into watching some people. There's going to be plenty of trade stuff to break down as we go. All right, here are the hitters from yesterday. Dylan Lyle of the Nationals wins the 3 cups, 2 for 4, 2 home runs. Kody Clemens with the ultimate grand slam is number 2. And then Luis Garcia, who, keep an eye on him. Will they trade him? Will they not trade him? I don't know. 3 for 5 with a home run, also for the Nats. As for the WPAs yesterday, Kody Clemens with the ultimate grand slam. Can't beat that. Hardly ever going to see an 84.3 WPA score, but that's wild. Pitchers, Noah Cameron, who's been on an absolute burner as of late. 8 shutout innings for the Royals. Sean Burke, 6 innings, shutout versus the Yankees, 10 Ks. We'll be watching that. Ryan Weathers, who no longer throws 4-seamers, 7 innings, no runs. He's starting to figure his new style out. A lot of good performances yesterday. McLean, 6 1/3 and 2. Robbie Ray, 6 1. Sonny pitched 7 innings. Louder had a nice start, 6 2. Roki, who we should watch, had a nice start. What do we got in WPAs? Ryan Weathers had the top WPA. Interesting. All right, prospects from yesterday. Joshua Baez continues to hit home runs in AAA for the Cardinals. 3 for 4 with a pump. Cooper Ingle, 3 for 4 with a pump. DeVries, 2 for 5 with a homer for the A's. Pitchers, Tong in AAA, 5 innings, 7 Ks, no runs. So a good start for Jonah. We'll think about that maybe if we want to go on the backswing. Anyway, here are the home runs last night from the prospects. Velasquez, Nyans, who I like a lot. Love. He's got like a Devers swing. Caleb Bonemer, Nathan Flewelling, and the other 3 I mentioned. All right. All right, let's do Sean Burke first. Sean Burke is disgustingly good, is the comment here. He pitched very well. He's been one of 2 really, really dominant guys, I feel like, for the White Sox this year, along with Davis Martin, who's struggling more in the second half. But Burke is not. Burke's been really good. He's got good breaking pitches. This is our second time watching him this season. And Yankees offense right now, without Bellinger in there, obviously no Judge, no Stanton. It ain't the same, but it still got shut down really badly by Burke. So anyway, here's the numbers on Burke this year. 7 5, 3.04, 22 games, 18 starts, 124 1/3, 140 Ks, 1.10 whip. What's not to love about that? Originally a 3rd-round pick out of University of Maryland, the Terrapins. Here is the pitch mix overall for the year. You see, it's got a 4-seam with a little bit of ride cut. Actually, quite a lot of bit of ride cut. It's a very good 4-seam right there with that shape. Curveball off of that, so that's his lefty attack, 4-seam with cut and curve. Then you got his righty attack and a little bit of lefty here. Gyro slider, sinker to the arm side, cutter as the bridge, and then a very slimly used changeup. All right, let's see the game situation from yesterday. Player breakdown on Burke's scoreless outing yesterday. 34 heaters, 21 sliders, 16 knuckle curves, 11 sinkers, 6 cutters, 3 changeups. The Yankees try to throw a lot of lefties at him. 74 pitches versus lefties, only 17 versus righties. He did get 40% whiff on slider, 50% on knuckle curve, 75% on cutter, 41% for the game. So the Yankees were wind farming all game long, swinging and missing, swinging and missing. 70% first pitch strikes is a tremendous outing. Everything checks out really good here. So let me pull it up. Sean Burke versus the Yankees yesterday. Day game. Yankees probably wanted to get out of Dodge quickly and enjoy their second half of their day in Chicago, but it ended up being extra innings, so suck it on that one. All right, here we go. Burke. Trent Grisham is our first batter, and Burke's a brick shithouse, too. Look at the size of this man. Anyway, no idea why there's only 2 pitches logged for the first at-bat of the game, but he got on base. So here's Ben Rice. Knuckle curve ball.
For him in that outing in the Bronx.
4-seam away ball.
With the first 2 here.
So Yankees getting it going here early, but I feel like there's a double play that messes up this first inning. 3-0 right out the rip to Rice. Also, Burke with some patent leather Jordans going on, it looks like, on the mound. Grisham's got some Jordans on, so Jordans are well represented. That same, I don't know what number that is. Those 11s? Anyway, cutter hammered foul, and then knuckle curve ball. So first 2 guys get on, and that was really the only bad pitching he did. After that, he's kind of shoved. Oof. Good pitch to hit there. You know, you don't know it a lot of times in the first inning, but sometimes that's your opportunity. Really good pitch that was to Dominguez to hit, but he fouled it off, didn't take advantage, and now that's going to come back to bite them a little bit here. This was also a big come back to bite them moment in a sneaky kind of way. 1-2, ball in the dirt, kicks away pretty far from the catcher. Runners don't move up. Don't know if they would have been safe or not, but if they move up, it takes away the double plays possibility. Instead, it doesn't. And I think that comes into play later in this inning. All right, so a nice little comeback there for Burke. The 2-2 sinker running up and away. And then he comes back with a cutter hard into the belt line.
3-2.
And Dominguez does not recognize that. Swings right over the top. So that's 1 out.
7.5.
And now we got who? Goldie?
Well,
Yep, first pitch, nasty slider. So we had catcher's interference on that first play. Yeah, that was weird. I didn't see what happened there. Old Brick Burke, they call him. I mean, he's a brick, all right. Anyway, he comes right back, punches the next two. That's 96-3. I mentioned with that ride cut shape at the top of the zone. Ride cut really good against righties. As they dip their barrel, it stays up over the fat part, and they get them swing and miss all day long. Look at this, 18.2 inches of vert, so that's elite level of rise on his ball, but also only 2.8 inches of horizontal, so it kind of holds and kind of stays up and in. So really good pitch there. So 2 strikeouts in a row. Here is Spencer Jones, who had a really good game earlier in the week, but not as much in this one. 4-seam, huge hack, fouled back, curveball, drops it right in there. Very good combo there. Then they're going to try to elevate here again. Good job by Spencer to make contact, but it's going to be an easy pop out. Acuna comes on over, makes the play, and he gets through the first inning. Second inning.
I see what Connor did there, setting it up.
Jazz Chisholm. 4-seam pulled foul. Here comes a changeup. Really good changeup there.
His 13th at best.
So the White Sox are going to be an interesting team at the deadline. Like, they're not going to sell off anybody that they want on their team the next 2 or 3 years because they're building into something here. But at the same time, they're in first place. So if they can improve their pitching staff a little bit, you know, that gives them a much better shot to either get in the dance or come dance time. So I'm curious to see what they do or don't do. This is the second punch out of a lefty on a very short down-in cutter. This pitch, for whatever reason, is definitely tunneling really good off his fastball. And I think it's because of that perceived cut shape on his 4-seam. So even when the ball trends a little bit left out of the hand, the hitter still thinks it's a fastball. Swings over the top, and honestly, Jazz has been a little out of whack this last couple games. So, starts the second off with a strikeout. All right, here is Volpe. Slider strike. Here comes the sinker.
That's the fit I'm looking for.
Swings underneath that, so should be out on a 4-seam up, and he just takes it. So, pretty bad at bat there by Volpe. 3-pitch strikeout for Burke. And here is McMahon. And you can see he catches his rhythm probably in the Volpe at-bat of this game. And let's see how long he can carry it. Now he's in the strike zone, back-to-back pitches. A little bit more of a competitive 0-2, and then here comes the curve. I mentioned the 4-seam and the curveball are his lefty main jam, and it's a really good combination with that ride cut and then the curveball off that top shelf line with plenty of drop. And punches McMahon with it. So a dominant second inning for Buck. Slider fouled off. Yeah, he's got plenty of ride. That's the thing. You can have cut, but he's got big time ride. But you see the curveball and the breaking ball. He's got a good pitch package. He really does.
Big time game performers.
Here is Wells. Pretty close in there. And then here comes the slider for a strike. So really punches a whole bunch of dudes out in a row here. This was not a good pitch, but got away with it up top. And now we're back to Grisham. Sinker strike.
Popped up Colson Montgomery trying to look.
Any thoughts on why he throws harder as the game goes on? You know, believe it or not, there's a lot of starters that this kind of happens naturally for. Early in the game, they're a little more guarded. They're a little more, I don't know, stressed or tense, just trying to find their feeling, and then once they find it, they're able to kind of let it rip all the way through the finish line. Sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's more just how a guy works into the game. So I don't know what the case is for Burke as he strikes out Grisham here with a cutter. This is the third lefty with a cutter.
Got him swinging.
Cutter's doing something right because that looks hittable to me, but it's not. So anyway, that's kind of how it works. Yeah, we'll get side angle for Burke here. Here's a first pitch to Ben Rice that he almost gets ambushed on, but he must have just missed it. 102-2 at 34. Narrowly avoids the ambush home run here. But this is why you throw the ball right down the damn middle, with nobody on. Because more times than not, you're going to get a favorable outcome. You can live with a home run there. Anyway, that's the third inning. Interesting how his cutter has decent rise, but the typical miss is over it. That is just due to the shape of his four seam having some cut on it. A cutter more like Cam's is an under miss, that velo location. I agree with exactly what you're saying. Yeah. Even though he has decent amount of vertical break on his cutter, we have seen guys swing over it, and I think that's the anticipation of his cut ride fastball. So I think that's what you're seeing in. I think that's what you're seeing in practice. And there's a slider version of that as well. Also, his slider is going to be another play off of it. Like if he throws cutter and he gets foul ball, then he can now tunnel the slider and the cutter, which are going to be, they're going to look about the same through here, through about this amount of distance. And then the slider will deviate below. So he's got a really good three-way tunnel set up there. Four seam, cutter to slider, and really curveball even further. It's really nice. But yes, I agree with you. The shape of the four seam is part of the reason why guys are swinging over his cutter, in my opinion. All right, sinker backdoor. Appreciate you. Come on by anytime if you want to come back and watch the replays on the YouTube channel. They're all up there with chapters afterwards.
0-2.
Hey, yo, Adam. First time, long time. How's your 40s treating you? Pretty good. I don't feel old. I feel good. I'm getting to have a lot of fun doing the games and stuff and hanging with you guys, so I'm doing good. Don't feel old. And I'm pleasantly surprised. I never even considered life after 40. For me, it was like baseball career and then after life, whatever. After that, whatever. But now that we're here, I'm feeling pretty good about it. There's another really good cut ride four seam to Goldie. This one had 19 inches of vert on it. He's punched him with this twice. Well, as a matter of fact, Mason, you can check me out on ESPN on Monday night's game in the booth, and Wednesday night's game in the booth. So I am in the booth quite regularly lately, and I love it. Also, check out my vlog if you want to see behind the scenes. Side Quest episode 1 up on the channel. All right, so that was a strikeout of Goldschmidt. And now we are up to Spencer Jones. Burke definitely has caught a really good rhythm here, probably from about the second batter of the second inning. And he's been in control ever since then so far. Is that Miles Davis behind you? Yes, that's my favorite jazz musician. And that's a stippling painting done by my mother-in-law. She did a phenomenal job with that one. His pitches work perfectly together and elevate each other in the process. 100%. And this is what annoys me a lot about modern analysis of pitching, where they don't realize what the purpose of a lot of these pitches are and why you make them and why you bring them all together. So I'm glad you guys are seeing it, and I'm glad we're understanding what's making Burke so effective in this outing. Anyway, nice swing here by Spencer Jones. I was told that he could not hit high fastballs at all, and velocity was going to murder him. So far, he's striking out less than I would have thought, so I'm encouraged. He hasn't completely broken out yet, but I'm encouraged. All right, 2 outs, man on first, and back to Jazz. Sean Burke, pickoff move. Pitching is just way too cool, all the different ways to miss the barrels. Yeah, no one way to have success, but it's true. Love seeing you on the Mets. It would mean a lot to me if I responded to you. What's up, Blake? Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Appreciate you rooting for the Mets and supporting baseball. Oh, what's up, John? My guy from Round Hill Music. Just picked up a couple records the other day.
2-1.
Back here, these are my most recent pickups. And I'm just starting out my record collection a little bit, so I had to get a couple classics here. We got Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd.
2-2.
We got Illmatic, Nas, because of course you need that. And then we have one of my favorites, Simon and Garfunkel. Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme. A little eclectic, but those were the 3 pickups from the record shop the other day. So good to see you on here. Anyway, let's see what happens here. Ends up walking Jazz. I kind of ignored this whole at bat.
And now the walk to Chisholm. And there's 2 on.
Appreciate that. All right, next batter up. So we have 2 on and 2 outs. This becomes a pretty big at-bat, so I'm going to lock in on this one real quick. He struck out Volpe with 3 pitches the first time. Slider strike. Don't blame me for not swinging at that one. Here comes the fastball. Let's see the location. Ah, kind of a happy accident for the pitcher. Perfect location. Target's up away, misses up in, and as you see, off that slider, a lot of protection for that pitch, and he can't quite get to it. Now it's going to be 0-2, so immediately in a bad spot. Let's see how he goes to put him away. It's a knuckle curve.
Here's pitch number 25 this inning.
Oh, the top shelf outside knuckle curve on the black. So back-to-back 3-pitch punch-outs for Volpe. This was just honestly like kind of unhittable pitching. Unless he was going to go ahead and ambush that slider, he wasn't going to hit that fastball and that curveball. You would never swing at this. I mean, look at it out of the hand. Right at this point, you're shutting it down, right? It's like over your head. But, boop, drops it right in there, nasty. So,
25 this inning.
Really good pitch there. And unfortunately for the Yankees and for Volpe, that's the end of that inning. What else we got here? Nas and Paul Simon, the dream collaboration partnership we never got. Yeah. Totally. Fleetwood Mac fan. Yeah, I am. You want to see what else I got over here? Just while we're doing this real quick. These are my other pickups that I picked up just the other day from a different place. And then I have some more down there. We got Noah Khan, of course, Stick Season. We got Exodus, Bob Marley and the Wailers. We got Charlie Parker. This is an old school Charlie Parker, so some jazz right there. We got, this is what I've been listening to lately. My guy, Action Bronson from Tiny Desk. This is one of the most fire ones, if you've ever seen it. And then, what else we got down here? Somebody was asking about Fleetwood Mac, so we got Fleetwood Mac going. We got more Simon and Garfunkel going. So we got some more stuff. And then a lot of it's up in my kids' rooms. But anyway, we'll keep going on the game. All right, so that was it for the 4th inning. 5th inning, Burke gonna get a first pitch out on a sinker to McMahon.
I want to make this happen here.
So that's the second sinker that got ambushed by a lefty. Rice tried the same thing and just missed it before. This time, McMahon just misses it too. So you see what he's doing here? On 0-0 to lefties. This is not a pitch that he's typically going to use to execute the out. But he's looking at guys where he's okay taking his chance with sinker first pitch in the zone. And if they take it, then he's all set up to use his four seam, his cutter, his slider, his curveball the rest of the way. But if they swing at it, he'll take his chances. And twice this game, he's gotten 1 pitch out on maybe his worst pitch to lefties. So that is extremely beneficial if you're a starter. Rice popped one out to the track, and he got away with that one. And then McMahon pops this one up to center. So he's bought 2 outs on 2 pitches that normally he wouldn't get a lefty out with, which is very fortuitous if you are a if you're a starting pitcher. Anyway, that's a dirty slider. His breaking stuff is... it's up there. It's some of the better breaking stuff I've seen. The combination of the cutter, slider, curveball, he's got really good ability to spin the ball and with some velo behind it. A little 2-1 backdoor cutter to Wells. Was alive by Kid Cudi, your walkout song. Yes, for about the last 8 years of my career was. Yeah. You see a couple people using it around the league now, which I think is cool. All right, Wells with a pretty good swing there on a slider middle, and he's going to get himself a 1-out double. So good to see Wells swinging it a little better here. This was a tough at-bat all the way up until the final pitch. He took a couple tough strikes, chased a few pitches, but stays on a slider middle away and hits it. And that's really the first good thing the Yankees have done in a while, besides a couple walks. All right, so man on second, 1 out, back to the top of the order, Trent Grisham. Backdoor cutter strike. Change up off of that. This is only a 4% usage pitch for him, and I think it's because of that, the execution. Here comes a cut right heater. Force him down the middle, somehow off the end of the bat, and he gets a very easy fly out to center. I actually thought this was a pretty hittable pitch for Trent. But this gets off the edge, so Good job living on the edge there by Burke, and it pays off. 2 outs. Here's Ben Rice. Rice ambushed that sinker the first time, and the second time, and he walked the first time. So curveball, ball, slider, in play, outs. Great pitch to hit. Good swing. Good positioning. So Ben Rice had great swings the whole game. And this is part of the issue with the Yankees. They just don't have enough elite hitters right now in the lineup with some of their guys down. But this was a good swing by Ben Rice. He's got nothing to show for it today, but he's had good at-bats. So anyway, that's the end of the 5th. Little line out. Good positioning by the White Sox with Acuna, and we are in the 6th. Dominguez, first pitch slider, ripped to right. I feel like he's had better at-bats, although he had a bunch of strikeouts yesterday. And this was tough. This actually probably cost them the game, oversliding third. I mean, 1 run's going to win it through regulation. It was 0-0 through regulation. He's way too safe here to overslide third. I don't understand. This is just obviously a physical error, but I'm not sure what happened here. I'm more of a sandwich and half guy. Anyway, here you see him coming around third. I mean, he's safe by a mile, but then for some reason he just overslides the bag, and that really ends up costing the Yankees because there was no outs in this inning. So they would have had a man on third with no outs. Instead, they have 1 out, nobody on. So
strike 1 here to Paul Gold.
It's the small things, like Ali Sanchez trying to throw to third base the other night in the extra inning game when they were 1 out away from winning. Like, you can't do stuff like that if you want to win close games. And this is the thing that's concerning about the Yankees. They find a way to kind of beat themselves a lot. So they had an opportunity there. I mean, a fly ball would have got him in. Now a fly ball is just another out.
Nice job.
And now he's going to finish out his outing with Spencer Jones. Best Chad Green, Tommy Kahnle story. I mean, 2 of my best, 2 of my buddies. Kahnle's obviously a 1-of-1 treat. Chad's great. I love Tommy just yelling at Chad all day long, trying to get Chad to speak. Great duo. Great Yankee teammate duo. 3-1 sinker down the middle. This is the 3rd time he's gotten the lefty to just miss a sinker down the middle. So I think Burke got a little fortunate with a couple of his pitch choices in this game and also with the overslide. But he ends up going 6 innings, no runs, 10 Ks versus the Yankees. So that was Sean Burke's outing. Look, I mean, the breaking stuff is really good. I mean, it just is. It's got really good breaking stuff. I like the fact that his curveball is a little less sweepy, so it's more 12-6. And then the 4-seam shape, I think, gives him a lot of protection. But the cutter's nasty. The slider's nasty. There's a lot of tunneling going on there. And he's pitched really freaking well for the White Sox. You know, last year he got a little bit of the Will Warren treatment where they let him pitch a lot. 4-11 with a 4.22, but 134 innings. I'm sure he learned a ton through that process. And then you see how he comes out on this side, pitching really well. And him and Davis Martin are leading the White Sox pitching staff. You know, at this point, they're first place headed into August. That's really crazy to think about. All right, back into the chat. How was Lindor as a teammate? Really good teammate. Just a good dude. Very even-keeled type of guy. Best Didi Gregorius story. All right, so Didi Gregorius, probably one of the more interesting people I've ever played baseball with. Tons of hobbies. I'm sure you've seen his drawings. I don't know if you know, but he can play music. Unbelievable on the piano, a bunch of other things. But the weirdest one was that at one point he bought a tattoo gun and he was tattooing himself in the team hotel while we were on the road, just working on his craft, tattooing himself. So every day he would show me the progress he was making for a stretch. And I just thought, man, there's nobody else in the league quite like this guy who's got so many hobbies, but also great hitter, great pull side hitter, good shortstop. Overall, just a dope, cool dude. Really cool. All right, what else we got here? The last 2 games of that series would have driven me insane if I was a Yankees fan. And it did drive a lot of people insane. I mean, it was tough. They could have easily won that extra inning game, especially after they survived the 5-man infield scenario. Then they take the lead, and then they let them off the hook with the throw to third. Tough. Tough. Big fan of your work on Yes lately, dude. Enjoyed your time in the Yanks. Appreciate it. Love my Yankee people. Do you think that slide was a late call from the third base coach? I didn't get that vibe, but I guess we can scout out the third base coach real quick. I didn't really look. Let's see, third base coach coming around. No. He's telling him to slide at this point. That's plenty of time to slide. So third base coach did everything right. So not a late call by the third base coach by any means. And who is that, Rojas? So no way. Is a hot dog a sandwich? I say no. Who do you think has the best arsenal currently? I think Max Fried and Yamamoto and Zach Wheeler. Those are my three most complete. Action Bronson still does. He does fuck that's delicious still on his YouTube channel. He's a big inspiration to me. I love him. I love Action Bronson, one of my favorites. All right, let's keep going in here a little bit. Yeah, we love Troy Melton. He didn't really come out of nowhere. We watched him a bit on the stream the last time. He's got good pitches, man. Good extension, good feel, really good feel for a rookie. You were one of my favorite relievers, man. Would love to know what stadium was your favorite. Favorite, Wrigley, Fenway, Dodger. Least favorite, Cincinnati. And also Cleveland to pitch in. I got bombed in Cleveland. So, you know. To DJ LeMahieu stories, is he a human? Great human, one of the best. There's a lot of stories, but it's all just subtle stuff. He's one of the best. Just one of the best. Quiet guy. Unbelievable player. Unbelievable teammate. Did I have Tommy John? Yes. 2015. Came back in 2016 after about 14 months. Schlitz, far from a lock. He's on it, but Cease is nipping at his tail. Like, for real. All right, I think we'll do Nolan next. Seems like there's been enough of clearing for him. Were you the same after Tommy? Yeah, I was arguably better after Tommy, so it was important for me to get that surgery for sure. How was Clint Frazier? An incredible talent, good kid deep down. Struggled with it to be consistent, but a great talent. I wish I would have went better for him a little bit. How did you get past the mental block of trying to throw hard after Tommy John? I mean, at some point you just got to trust it. But it's not that hard. It's not that easy, but at some point you have to make the adjustment. Yeah. All right, let me answer two more and then we'll get into Nolan. I remember reading you changed your career one offseason by working a lot with technology. What was that like? So we built the lab in Harlem 2017 going into 2018. So prior to that, it was off seasons were more like guys would play catch, but it was really focused on the physical side, like the lifting, the running, whatever have you. But the skill side was sort of ignored, and I needed a place to work on the skill side. So that's what that provided me, and it led to my best. It led to my best season in 2018. Is TJ pretty much just an unavoidable thing? I don't know if it's completely unavoidable, but considering the standard it takes and how much you have to go ahead and send it to make it, I mean, it's probably going to happen quite a bit still, unfortunately. I'm a Smiling guy. Smiling Pizza's my spot, but I grew up on 11th Street, and Smiling's on 9th, so that makes sense to me, right? All right, let's do Nolan McLean yesterday versus the Marlins. We can watch Eury, too, if you guys are into that. But anyway, here's Nolan McLean. We'll probably watch Roki on the backside of this. Maybe a couple hitters, we'll see. So Nolan McLean has really turned around. He had a little bit of a slump there at some point in the season, but he's been dominant since then. 7-7, 3.29, 22 starts, 125 and 2/3, 148 strikeouts, 101.12 whip. All the expected numbers are great. We know what we think about him. His breaking stuff, some of the best in the game. Sometimes he has a hard time maybe calibrating it, or making the one pitch adjustments. The sweeper in general has been weird this year. I think hiking his arm angle up a little bit wasn't necessarily a good change for the sweeper. The sweeper last year was 26% pitch and was actually his strike pitch. But this year, he's dropped the usage down to 15%. I think it's because of lack of command of it. But he's really upped his four-seam usage. I know yesterday, somebody wrote me in the Discord right away, like, or maybe on a comment, can't wait for you to watch Nolan. He was throwing crazy cutters yesterday. So we'll see. Let's see the breakdown of his game yesterday. First, the box score. 6 1/3, 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, 99 pitches. Player breakdown on Nolan McLean. 25 four-seamers, 24 sinkers, 23 curveballs, 9 changeups, 7 cutters with a huge boost in cutter velo, 93.8 average on the cutter, 6 sliders, 5 sweepers, 74% first pitch strike. That might be a season high for Nolan. Didn't get a ton of whiff in this game, which is kind of interesting. All right, Marlins and Mets. Let's do it. Marlins and New York Metropolitans. Nolan McLean, 99 pitches, and he starts the game off with a 4-pitch walk of Liam Hicks. So this is something that you're going to see sometimes with Nolan McLean. He's just got so much movement in his game, and I feel like a lot of people go up there with like a, let's make sure this guy's throwing strikes against me approach. He's hard to hit. I'm not gonna be able to think along with him. He's gonna be a tough guy to ambush because of the action on his pitches. So let me try to walk. I don't think that's what Hicks was doing here, but at the same time, you do see a little bit of vulnerability every now and then with, you know, the ball just running out of the zone. So lead off walk, and then without fail, somebody will go ahead and swing when maybe they should take, and that's Xavier Edwards. And it's a bunt. Unfortunately, I have to say, Nolan McLean is a hell of a fielder. So I don't know why we don't get the full clip here. But Nolan McLean's a heck of a fielder. Watch him pounce on this and make the play. He was a position player not that long ago. So, you know, you get credit for the sack there. I think sometimes this is a sneaky kind of a it's not selfish, it's the team move, but it's a little bit selfish in your statistics, right? You lay this bunt down here. If you get out, then it's not an out. You're not 0 for 1. You get credited with the sack. But if you're safe, then you get a hit. So you're 1 for 1. Kind of a low-risk, high-reward move by Edwards here. Anyway, McLean makes the play, and they get the out. Next up,
who leads the major leagues in base hits, 138 hits already this year.
Otto Lopez. Interesting to see if this guy gets moved. He's hitting 329, All-Star this year, big-time performer.
As much as they have
you would think that he'd be a building block for next year, but maybe not. Maybe they're going to trade him. I have no idea what Peter Bendix and the Marlins are going to do, so let's keep an eye on that. Anyway, let's watch these guys battle. He tried a change-up right on 0-2. That's a telltale sign of a contact hitter you're facing if you're going right on right change-up 0-2. Curveball chopped foul.
Crouch, ready to pounce.
Better McLean, Tolley or McLean. Better stash, Tolley or McLean. McLean is catching up to Tolley now. I mean, he's got the red color going on, and the thing's gotten thick. So now all of a sudden we're getting pitches cut weird. Anyway, 1-2 curveball coming here. Backs it up a little bit, but it's still hard to hit in the upper third. And Beatty's going to make that play, and that's going to bring up Stowers. Four-seam fastball up in the zone. That had some good lift on it, it looked like. Swing through. Now to the curveball. Backdoor ball.
Kind of headers, you got to be careful.
Four-seam away ball. I don't think he's had his best command in the first inning. I don't think that's very controversial. There's a 94-mile-an-hour cutter that didn't cut. I'd be curious to see if these 93, 94-mile-an-hour cutters actually cut or if they end up looking a little bit more like fastballs. One thing that happened to me in my career is every time I would get my cutter up over 90, 91, I would not get my hand. It would come out of my hand a little bit earlier, and it wouldn't have the same bite. Anyway, here's a kick changeup with crazy movement, but it's a ball. And he's going to end up walking Stowers. So a really, really kind of all over the place first inning, in my opinion, for McLean. All right, here's Hernandez. Sinker at the bottom, really nice pitch there. Now here comes a cutter. 94.3, but hey, did that one back up a little bit? No, it still went left 2.3. Visually, it didn't look great, but it did work. So this is a top shelf cutter. Gets the call. 0-2 after the challenge. And then he's going to punch him with the high heater at 99.
And he struck him out with high heat.
99. So this might be one of the harder pitches I've seen him throw ever. And that ball exploded through the zone. So here's what 99 looks like from the side. I feel bad, Carl. I forgot to do the side view of Burke, but here's McLean on a maybe his hardest pitch of the year. I don't know. This is what it looks like. Really good deceleration there, obviously. And we are on to the second inning. Right? That was easy, huh?
Griffin Cody. Had a lot of big
all right, here
hits
comes a
lately
sweeper.
for the Marlins.
Sweeper was a big strike pitch for him
April.
last season. This year it's been a little more inconsistent, I think, with the arm angle changes and also moving around on the rubber a lot. All right, 2-1 here, another four-seam here.
Played on the fastball from McLean, too. Baloo.
And curveball, top shelf, backdoor, probably should have challenged that. But he gets the freeze. Good catch here by Alvey, I guess.
And the breaking ball in for
Yeah, and there's a strikeout to lead off the second. Here is Jacob Marcy. Four-seam middle.
He had a nice rookie season offensively for the Marlins last year, but this has been a whole different year for him. Went from an 8-4.
Would you trade Joe Ryan for McLean in fantasy baseball? Probably not. I think they're very similar in terms of what you're going to get out of them, production-wise. Curveball, no swing, and then four-seam strikeout of Marcy.
2-2.
Ooh, emergency hack. So destroyed Marcy right there, and here's Graham Pauley. So a really good second inning. Strikeout, one pitch out. Oh no, that's a hit. Terrible camera work there by SNY. No idea where this ball went. Let's see here. Check swing, dinker down the line. What do you want me to do? Dive for it, Bichette. So man on first, 2 outs, back to the top, oh no, this is the bottom of the order. This is Mac. When they first stand there, Mac and Hicks, I get confused for a second. Sinker up and away. I don't love the way he's using that to lefties, but okay. Top shelf curveball, pushed foul. And then does he pick him off here?
He wiggles his bat till he holds it.
And he picks off his third man of the season.
I think he gets him here. So that ends the inning. All right, third inning.
Usage a little bit more four-seamers and curveballs lately.
First pitch, sinker, one pitch out. Take it myself. Nolan McLean for Gold Glove. He's trying to get that candidacy up for Gold Glove.
The first inning. And this is away with the fastball.
Drift forward.
Yeah, I thought that was maybe the hardest pitch of his.
Gets that foot down pretty quick.
Of his thing. Do you only go over Mets pitchers? No, I already went over Sean Burke today. But you know, there was some clamoring for McLean, so he was next on the list. All right, in play outs here on a sinker. Went for the front door sinker, missed over the middle, so not necessarily a great pitch there, but they popped it up. One of the reasons why I'm so high on McLean, and I have been since the moment he got called up, is because I don't think he has to be as perfect as the other guys. He just has that good of a movement on his pitches and that big of an arsenal where I truly believe he has more margin for error than almost anybody else that's starting games in the big leagues, as long as he's in the strike zone. And because of that, I'm going to remain high on him. Just that's a rare ability to have, an ability to where sometimes you can throw poor location, but you're going to get away with a lot of stuff more than other guys. So anyway, base hit there. Edwards rolls a changeup through the other side, or maybe that was a sinker. A little bit of a shift beater there. And here's Otto Lopez. Chopped foul.
And that pickoff throw goes awry. And Edwards will go to second base. And it's the second time that's happened to McLean in recent starts. So runner in scoring position for Lopez.
Yeah. Broadcast could have done a better job last night.
Team with a low payroll that has not been able to afford a lot of power. Speed is a little more economical.
All right, so 2-1 again.
And Lopez takes that
little bit of a front door accidental strike there, and then he's going to throw a good curveball to get Otto Lopez to miss. Lopez, tough guy to strike out, and that's in zone whiff, showing you just how good his curveball is. We talked about it a million times. But here it is in practice. This is a banger in zone that the leading hitter in baseball completely comes up empty on. That's how good his curveball is. All right, fourth inning.
I can try to bury that when I want to. So just had success.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. Mets are going to be selling here. We'll just see to what extent.
When you develop new pitches, is it something now
AJ Minter is a good relief pitcher, but I'm wondering, did we get a good return for him? I mean, there wasn't going to be a big return for AJ. He's been hurt for the better part of a year. You know, I think there's that concern with him. There's the home run by Stowers. Let's back this up. How did this happen? So I think they got a good enough return. I think the Mets ultimately win that. They got two guys with 6 years of control that are lottery tickets, but you're not going to get much more than that. All right, so it's a sinker ball, sinker foul, and then change up home run. So typically you don't want to go sinker to change up in zone right on left because they have a similar shape. And that's kind of what happens here. It's just a pulled changeup in zone, and Stowers is on it with his short swing and pulls it at 113 to right for a home run. So this was the first run of the game that McLean allowed, and I think this is just a poor mistake. If he gets the changeup down and away, it's probably fine. But whenever you make a mistake from sinker to changeup in zone, you're vulnerable. That's what happens here. Stowers drops head on that, and it's 1-0 Marlins. But again, solo shots. You know, whatever. If it's a physical error, it happens. All right, next up, Hernandez. 97 up ball.
And use that pitch effectively. Like, that's helped a lot with the confidence with those pitches.
And then 94, pretty decent contact on that. Flies it out to Benj in right center. Can of corn. Now a one-pitch out. Sinker here to Conine. Pretty good swing at that, but right at Ewing.
Versus when you're trying to find it.
And now we're back to Marcy.
I would say just being
as Gelbs is talking to Christian Scott here.
I've had my most success this year.
Foul bunt, cutter middle, fouled off. I think fastball's the play. Wow, they're going sinker. Misses with it again, and is going to be fortunate to get that out. So we've seen this a bunch lately. McLean trying to throw the front door sinker. You see the target, but then he keeps missing over the plate. And so far, he's gotten away with it. But in a big spot, look for that to come back to haunt him if he doesn't execute this pitch. Anyway, it doesn't haunt him here. It's a 1-2-3, very efficient fourth inning. He did, not a 1-2-3, 1-2-3 after the home run. Efficient fourth inning. I think you can live with that. On to the fifth. Backdoor sweeper strike, that was generous. Would sinker in zone to a changeup out of zone be a good sequence? Yes, much better. Much better sequence there. Totally agree.
I mean, half their team is
four-seam up, swing and miss, and then he's going to try it again here. Sinker in, and again, misses again out away. Now, I've talked about this miss being a happy miss at times because I threw this pitch a lot too. So when you have this target and you're trying to throw the front door sinker, most of the time if you do miss, what you want to happen is you want to have it end up out here so that at least it's pretty safe and has a chance for a swing and miss. He gets it. He gets part of it. He gets it off the plate away, and that ends up working out. You just don't want to make that miss in the heart of the plate, which he did a few times. So that's McLean continuing to struggle to execute this pitch, but not being burned by it. And again, he's got so much run on his sinker. That's 18 inches. He's going to get away with more than other guys. All right, so that's one out in the fifth. And now we are back up to Mac. Yeah, this is the dugout iPad that I'm watching on right now.
Bellinger and Judge.
All right, so gets ahead of him 1-2 on a curveball. Here's another front door sinker attempt. This time he nails the spot, and it's a handcuff foul ball. So they kept trying it. This is what he's been trying to do for a while, is hit this spot. And you see why this spot's so safe. It's because not only is it potentially ball strike, but even if they swing, they usually hesitate, and they're late as crap, and that's what happens here. So this is a good example of an execution. All right, now they're going to try it again, which I don't know about doubling up. This time it's high. And now curveball.
It's different, though.
It is definitely different.
Backdoor curveball tapped. McLean makes his third play of the day. Easy peasy. That was a nice sequence there. Worked both sides of the plate. Back to the top of the order. First pitch sinker to Hicks. Base hit. Tried to get that first pitch, you know, take strike on the non-optimal pitch, ends up giving up a single. That's going to happen. Liam Hicks is a good contact hitter. And now Edwards shows bunt again. Very generous call on the slider.
Edwards flies one
And I don't love this pitch either, but it worked out. Little fly ball to left. So gets through the 5th scoreless. We're on to the 6th. Back to Otto Lopez. Struck him out on a curveball in zone the last time. Cutter for a strike. Change-up coming here. Seems like they're heavy on the sinker versus left-hand hitters and staying away from the 4-seam. Yeah, not really sure why. I don't mind it if it gets to certain locations. There's another great curveball. But I think he's getting a little lucky with that, to be honest. Yeah, Josh Beckett. I mean, a lot of guys. It's the kill pitch. It's the magic pitch. The front door sinker to a lefty, but you got to execute. All right, he's going to get him out with a changeup right on right here. I like that pitch. Didn't get it down, but great execution. Obviously, he's not looking for it. Had him in swing mode, had him sped up. One-handed pop-up, 2 outs in the 6th. And Stowers, he homered the last time on that changeup. Actually hammers that first pitch fastball, 110, but right at Semien. So Stowers had the best swings off of McLean in this game. The home run, the walk, and the line out. All right, 2 outs. Here is Herberto Hernandez. Sinker down. Adam, when Hef was fired, did the Mets ever contact you about a coaching job? No. No. I don't think they're in love with me over there. But, you know, the Yankees offered me a coaching job last year that I turned down because I wanted to do the broadcasting thing. And it wasn't one of the jobs I really wanted, but Yankees offered me a job. Mets, no chance. All right, backdoor sinker, nails it. So he had been trying to find this pitch all day to those lefties and kept missing. Finally got it calibrated late in the outing, and you see why you don't give up on it because it's so effective. Anytime you can throw a called 3rd strike pitch, you should do it, and wham. Perfect backdoor sinker there. His stuff's been tremendous in this game. Not that it isn't every time, but tremendous.
Deadline on the latest episode of the Mets Pod. Subscribe and listen wherever you get your
4-seam fouled off.
Facing Griffin Conine.
There's a 93-mile-an-hour cutter. The question is, do I like his cutter more now that it's faster this last game? Of course, the answer is yes, but I haven't seen as much execution. This is the best one probably executed yet. For me, cutter's still a lot about execution. The shape's still not an outlier. McLean's cutter, but at least if it's faster, do I like it more? Yes, I like it more. Curveball ball, and then curveball swinging strike to start the 7th. We all know about the curveball. When he gets it flowing, it's nasty. Here's the latest version of that. 84-3. You've got no shot for the first out of the 7th. He's at 90 pitches here, and I think this is where he starts to tire a little bit. It's going to be, I believe, a 4-pitch walk to Marcy here with 1 out in the 7th. Now, if you're the manager, this would be a good time to probably pull your starter when all of a sudden he loses it. Oh, no, he gets clipped on 3-0. 3-0 fastball to Marcy. Shows you I didn't really watch a lot of this game. Oh, you know what? You fall behind 3-0. You have to challenge him there. Credit to Marcy for taking a shot on 3-0. Also, if you watch Jacob Marcy swing, it's a very choppy, non-scoopy swing. It's actually built to cover 4-seam fastballs up, and that's what he gets here. So I got to give credit to Marcy here. But yeah, McLean, he lost his focus there, fell behind 3-0, and that ended up burning him big time. Check out the swing plane on Marcy here. Really quick to the ball. He finishes up through the ball, but on the initial move, he's very tight and quick to the ball. So built to cover the top of the zone. Him and Stowers really are. And those are the 2 guys that clipped McLean. So that made it 2-2. This is his last batter. Foul ball away.
Hitters behind him knew he was going to get a fastball, and he delivered.
Slider backdoor ball.
Check swing grounder over the 3rd base bag in the 2nd.
Yeah, and I've been saying for a long time, his 4-seam and his cutter have been the most vulnerable pitches for him. Like, they're the pitches that aren't, like, really great shape-wise. So, you know, he has to figure out how to use them the most. His sinker's got great movement. It's just, it should be more of a righty pitch. He used it a lot for his lefties. Anyway, gives up another hit on the curveball, and then that's it. They take him out. So, 7th inning, he goes strikeout, home run, single, and gets pulled. All told, he pitches 6 1/3 with the 2 runs. Did he get credited for a 3rd run here? No. 2 runs, 1 earned. I don't remember what the error was. Kind of weird. 2 home runs, somehow 1's earned. I don't know. But anyway, oh, that's Eury. I'm so blind. 2 runs, both earned. He's pitching great though. You look at his game logs as of late. He's been pitching really well. I'll be curious to see how he looks coming down the stretch, how much they let him pitch coming down the stretch. So here is his last 7 starts. He went 8 starts. He went 7-0 versus the Reds. Then he got crushed by the Cubs. After that, 6-0, 6-2, 6-0, 6-0 with 10 Ks, 6-2, and 6 1/3 and 2. So he's rolling. He's good. No worries with Nolan McLean. I guess the big thing is how many innings will he get to? Can he throw like a $180? Where are they looking for that to land? You know, I think that's a really good question. Yeah, sorry. I saw that for a minute. How did I like pitching in Boston? Loved it. Loved playing for Boston. Loved playing for Boston. Loved being there. Had a great time. Where do you rank McLean in terms of stuff? I think he's top 15 in the league in stuff, starting pitchers. I have his breaking stuff as tops in the league between his sweeper and his curveball, although the sweeper's been a little less effective, so maybe I have to rework my rankings, but I think his curveball's up there. He's nasty. He's nasty, and he's still improving. Why do you think he's had such poor results with the sweeper? I just think he's lost the feel for it a little bit this year. Arm angle raised a little bit, changed the shape a little bit, and he's just struggled with it. But it's such a nasty pitch. Such a nasty pitch. Can he steal Rookie of the Year from JJ? See, I think Sal Stewart might win Rookie of the Year. It's going to be pretty close. When you originally built your pitching lab, how quickly did the word spread around the league? I mean, people knew about it a little bit that I had talked to, but I'd say it wasn't until that next year that the whole rest of everybody started to really be like, oh man, like, let me find out, you know, that type of thing. Who do you think will be the next traded pitching-wise for the Mets? I mean, I think they're definitely going to trade Raley, maybe Brazabon, Weaver, Holmes. There's a number of names, Peralta, so we'll see. Yeah, see, Max Meyer, I was actually going to say, breaking stuff, I might actually have him ahead of, have him ahead of McLean on breaking stuff, honestly. It's close. Did you sign your name inside the Green Monster? Yeah, probably more than once. What do you think about the Braves starting rotation? I think they need help. They're doing a great job, but they need help. I'd love to see Schwellenbach back. It's concerning he might not pitch the whole year, but I think Anthopoulos will be fairly aggressive at the deadline. You don't think Sal Stewart can win Rookie of the Year? What's the comparison right now between JJ, Weatherholt, and Sal Stewart? So JJ's hitting 745 OPS, 16 home runs, 69 runs scored. Sal Stewart got an 804 OPS, got less runs scored. All right, so 104 hits. How many hits does JJ have? 103 hits. So they have about the same amount of hits, but Sal has more home runs, higher OPS, probably more RBIs, but less runs scored, but not as good on defense. I'd say Weatherholt's probably edging him, but it's close. Pause. Let's see what Baseball Reference War has to say. It's got Weatherholt at 4.3. I mean, that's huge defensive value. And then Sal, it's got him at 1.5. So Baseball Reference is telling me Weatherholt's running away with it. McLean, just for fun, he's at 1.9 WAR. So it tells me Weatherholt's running away from it. I don't know if there's any other candidates necessarily, but I thought off of raw numbers, maybe Sal Stewart had a shot. So I don't know. Maybe I was misinformed. Do you still live in Greenwich? Saw you at ABS a couple months and said hi. I'm in Greenwich all the time. My kids go to school out there, but I live in Westchester. All right, what else we got here? As a Cubs fan, I see it as JJ, but if he cools off or Sal heats up, we could have a different convo. Cole Carrick, the best rookie if he would have started the year in the show. But he also might not have been as good if he started the year in the show, right? What went wrong between me and the Mets? I mean, I had some pushback on some stuff with Carlos, obviously, and then so me and Carlos didn't have the best relationship. He didn't take my criticism very well, whether I was on the team or in the media, whatever. Even though it was all I was trying to do was help the club, and I thought we had an open door policy. But other than that, I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard boo from David since I left. I mean, I had a little pushback on some of his stuff too. And I think he wants to run things his way, which is his prerogative. But there shouldn't be any beef with me and the Mets. I love the Mets. So if anything, it's just some sensitivity. All right, what else we got here? Well, I can't tell you exactly where I live, but I live in Westchester. If you were the GM of the Yankees, how would you fix the team? Well, I mean, I think really the biggest thing is get Judge back, get Stanton back, get Belly back, and they'll be all right. But maybe a couple more bullpen arms. Look for upgrades at catcher, maybe third, maybe short. Those are some ideas. Yeah, thoughts on Skubal? I mean, listen, you know, I think he's going to get traded. I do. I really do. I think he's going to get traded. That's just the feeling that I get. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think a lot of teams, in theory, could use him. Who will take on the most amount of pain? Should we speed watch Eury Perez? Eury Perez, this is Eury's year so far. 5-8, 3.44, 19 starts, 104 innings, 112 strikeouts, 1.10 whip. You know, still a phenom, 23 years old. Great fastball, little too many walks, little vulnerable on home runs and stuff, but this kid's pretty good. So we'll speed watch him really fast. Just out of curiosity, what's he been looking like lately? He's been on a run. He's been on a real run. Look at this. 6 1/3, 1, 4-0, 4 2/3, 1, 5 1/3, 1, 7-0, 6-2, 6-0, 7-3, 6-1 last night. So pretty impressive stuff there from Eury Perez. Let's see what the breakdown on him was. 39 sinkers, 20 sliders, 13 four-seamers, 11 sweepers, 8 curveballs, 6 changeups. Velocity was up. Fairly typical whiff day for him. So we already have this game pulled up. We'll just do result pitches on Eury Perez here. All right, first batter of the game is AJ Ewing. Is going to strike him out on a 99-mile-an-hour sinker.
And Ewing goes down.
That's just middle. AJ doesn't miss a lot of those pitches, so that just shows you how good his heater is. Then he's going to punch out Lindor next. Little slider below the zone. Perfect execution on that. So 2 batters, 2 strikeouts, and then a 1 pitch out of Bo. Really good first inning. Eury Perez is an absolute monster. So this ball gets on you, and he throws gas, and he's got good vert. This is like 20 vert with above-average extension from a huge man. So easy peasy first inning. Second inning starts it off with a changeup strikeout of Benj. Little check swing punch out of Benj. 1 out there. Now he's going to get Robert out with a sweeper. This lineup's just not nearly as potent without Juan Soto. Pop up there.
Secondary pitch.
And then Beatty. So 6 up, 6 down, 20 pitches, first 2 innings. Really efficient. Pretty good pitch to hit there by Beatty, but he just misses it, flies it out to Marcy. Third inning, here is Semien. That's middle sinker popped up. So he's giving him some pitches right down the middle that the Mets have not reacted well to. Here's Polanco, 3-2 sinker coming here. So another guy using a lot of right on left sinker. And that ball's actually really well hit, but I think he top spun it a little bit. 101 right out to Conine. So 8 up, 8 down before he finally walks Alvey here with 2 outs. 3-2 walk to Alvey. Gets back up to Ewing. 1-2 slider. Good location down and away, chopped in the ground. So really good first 3 innings. Here's the 4th inning. Going to strike out Lindor for a second time. Slider middle swings under that. That's a weird out. Let's watch this whole at bat. This is Lindor's second strikeout, so I'm curious. Good pitch to hit, but he's under and late. Now curveball. Just can't swing at that. Perfect pitch. And he's going to go change up. That's a good take. And then really, I would have thought he would have been on this slider, to be honest. This is an incredibly dangerous pitch. but Lindor's a little late on it and misses it.
Bats.
All right, here's Bichette. Going to get him out with a sweeper. Little backup sweeper in off the plate, confuses him and grounds it out to third. Making it look easy here. Called strike to Benj. Down in. All over the zone. So, easy fourth inning for Eury Perez. All right, Robert to lead off the fifth. Sinker. Right down the middle, chop to third.
And he throws out Robert.
Change up to Beatty. I mean, really, the first, whatever, almost 5 innings here, he has made it look awfully easy. Not a lot of threatening going on by the Mets offense. That's change up middle, popped up. Here comes a hit. There we go. Semien on the sinker. That's actually the same pitch he popped up the first at bat. Second time, much better swing. Lines it into left. And now Polanco.
Polanco pops one up behind.
Just reaches, taps it, and it's a pretty nice play over there at third base. Crashing into the tarp by Graham Pauley. So really, really easy first 5 innings. Here is the 6th inning, and he starts it off with a 4-pitch walk to Alvey in the 9-hole. If you want to lose a game, this is what you do. You walk the 9-hole leading off the inning. So he loses it. Here comes Ewing. Hit and run on the pitch, which was actually quite fortuitous because now they can't get the double play. So Ewing grounds out on the curveball. Man on second, 1 out. And now Lindor's going to get him. Struck out Lindor the first 2 times. This time Lindor starts a little bit earlier, gets a sinker in zone he can handle. Line drive to right, RBI. Alvey comes around to score, and they tie the game up. Let's watch this whole at-bat. Slider to sinker, huh?
Position for Lindor, who struck out in both the bats. And he shoots one foul.
Slider backdoor fouled off, and then fastball here. Lined into right base hit. So good job by Lindor in the 3rd at bat here. But the leadoff walk definitely comes back to hurt Perez. All right, another guy getting on here. It's Bichette. Ooh, another hit and run. Got some hurdles going on here. So the Mets benefit twice from putting in the hit and run. Check out the high home on this. Second baseman Edwards goes to cover and then can't make this play. Good job by Bichette. He hit that ball pretty hard up the middle. Lindor hurdles. Lindor literally hurdles Otto Lopez coming around second. Let's see if we can see it on here. I mean, no, he hurdles Edwards. Hurdle and on to third. So first and third, 1 out. Mets putting together a little rally. Benj. 2-2 slider. Oh, in a very hittable location. Pops it up shallow. And they can't score the run. So that will keep them at first and third. And then that brings up Robert. 99-mile-an-hour sinker. Weak chopper. Paulie comes, can't handle it. Run scores. So yeah, honestly, the Mets benefited twice from some hit and runs and just squeaking some things out. They give this an error, huh? Guess I would have been tempted to give it a hit, especially at home, but I mean, if he fields it there, he's got plenty of time to throw him out. He's got all that distance still to run, so they end up giving that an error. That's what saved Eury the earned run, and then he finishes out his outing with the 3-pitch strikeout of Beatty. So it's the leadoff walk that came back to haunt him. Other than that, it honestly came pretty easy for him. Credit the Mets for trying to put a few things into motion there, but it did not work. So that was Eury Perez. Mets end up winning that game yesterday. That was a good matchup, McLean versus Eury. All right, let's see what we got here in the chat. I think there was a super chat in here. Yeah, Saunders Sons wants a little love for Rumfield in the NL wildcard race. I mean, NL Rookie of the Year race. You know what? You're right. I should have never neglected him. TJ Rumfield, 293, 376, 467, 2.9 WAR playing for the Rockies, and that WAR is getting downgraded a little bit probably because of the Coors Field situation. Let's see what he's got. Maybe that's a Fangraphs WAR. Let's see, because usually it's really hard to accumulate B WAR, but he's got plenty of it. Still has a 120 OPS plus playing at Coors, so that's really impressive. Let's see the raw numbers overall for Rumfield, who they got in the trade from the Yankees for Chevy and Bird. Rockies are winning that trade right now, I think, although Chevy's been pretty useful for the Yanks. 2.9 WAR, 110 hits, 22 doubles, 13 home runs, 2 triples. Core's always going to inflate your triples. This is a really nice stat. 44 walks, 63 strikeouts. Obviously, we know the batting average is boosted by Core's, but the other stuff's been pretty solid as well. Let me look at him on Savant. Is he adding some defensive value in here? TJ Rumfield, yes, 5 outs above average, so tremendously effective at first base for the Rockies as well. So doing a little bit of everything. Interesting approach that this might help you a lot at Core's. First percentile average exit velo, 83.8. This guy's swinging a wet newspaper but dominating with it. Hard to do without the air, but that might have something to do with it. Maybe this is the Core's prototype. Contact, we don't care about exit velo. I don't know. That's interesting. Very interesting. All right, 25 more minutes left in the stream. Let's see what we get into. I'd like to watch Roki. There was also a request for somebody else at some point. A lot of bloops, right? When players are obvious trade pieces, does this get talked about in the clubhouse between players? Oh, it definitely, but more whispered and stuff. Like, oh, we're both in the sauna, we'll chat about something, or at lunch. But, you know, you don't try not to talk too loud, or you don't try to talk about other people in front of them or something like that. You know what I mean? You got to have a little respect. It's like anything else. Having feel is very important. Very important. I wanted to watch Sale from the other night, and I'm not sure how he's accomplishing throwing harder than ever, but it's been amazing to watch, and he's just an incredible pitcher. I love him. OPS-wise, Rumfield's actually higher than both Sal and JJ. Yeah, I think he's in the mix, guys, but, you know, the Rockies don't get a lot of love in voting typically, so we'll see. OPS this year for Rumfield, 880 at Coors, 807 on the road. Really good. Really, really good. What kind of value does Dustin May hold? I mean, it won't be anything good. They'll get a low-level lottery ticket back. But what value does he have for the Cardinals? You know, not much. So, you know. How about the year Erod's having? Erod's got such good command when he's right. It's fun to watch him work, for sure. Are you working Sunday's game? No, I'm doing ESPN this week. Monday, ESPN. Wednesday, ESPN. Check me on the broadcast those days. All right, we want to do Roki last night. Roki, we've been tracking him all year. We continue to track Roki. I think this is the game, right? Dodgers and Mariners. Roki Sasaki, 5 1/3, 2 hits. 5 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. Let's check the breakdown. On the Roki-san, 37 splitters, 33 fastballs, 20 sliders. Okay, so didn't measure any forks there. There was something in the chat saying he might have thrown a few sinkers. It says right here from Keys and Bees. So we will see. We will see here. I got to answer this super chat, though. I was just watching a couple days ago, so you may have touched on this. Why do you think Goody was snubbed from the Derby? You know, I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're just looking for a lot of fame in the Derby at the end of the day. They want famous guys in the Derby. Rockies guys just aren't really famous. That could have been part of it, or maybe he didn't want to participate. I don't really know the answers on that. All right, so that's Sasaki's mix. He threw 63% first pitch strikes. That's great for him. He gave up no hard hits on his splitter. He got 41% whiff. We know about Roki. We know what he brings to the table. So, and how he's been trending. So let's watch it. I know he didn't have as much IVB, which we thought was maybe something that was super critical to him, but I'm curious to watch how he pitches. Big thing I watch when Roki pitches is his level of conviction. Why did I pick Reds? I need Mariners. If you watch him and he's not being tentative and he's just chucking it and letting it rip, that's usually a good spot. All right, here's Roki Sasaki.
Final wild card spot. Sasaki's first pitch is a strike, and he begins the night with a slider.
All right, so 98.5. Velo's been up the last couple games. Like, that's 99. So, I do think he's in a good place mentally. I think he's got confidence, you know? Confidence is such a huge part of pitching. Splitter away, beating the ground. Mookie's there, 1 out there. All right, here is Randy. Four-seam up ball.
To be exact.
Oh, so he wanted it. He was actively campaigning. I'm surprised he didn't get in. I'm surprised.
I'm not swinging at it.
I will say, though, Cags is, like, very famous player relative to Goodman, right? I think he's more known nationally.
Landing them both for strikes.
But also, like, his potential for him to hit, like, a 9,000-foot home run is there. But I still think it's unfair to Hunter quite a bit, in my opinion, if he wanted to be in there. All right, 101.5. 101.5. We haven't seen this from Roki in a while. 101.5? That's a radio station. I've used that joke too many times. Anyway, fouled off, and then he's going to end up walking Randy. But, you know, walks happen. The big thing for me is conviction. He threw that pitch with conviction. Let's look at the 101.5 from the side. I love the way he hops out of his delivery. Him and Yoshi, it's just so cool. Man, you can almost see the energy right from here, just all of a sudden coil up the body. Right there. Wow. Incredible. So anyway, it's a walk. And man on first, one out for Italian Thunder, Dominic Canzone. We watched him on the last stream hit some absolute nukes. So Roki goes split. Split again. Cags definitely has more raw power than Goodman. Cags is like top 5 raw power in the show. It's like O'Neal Cruz, Judge, Caminero, Jordan, and like Cags, for real. 98 down in. That is going to be a called strike 3. Great challenge. Great challenge. Is that rushing? Great challenge by rushing here to get this strikeout of Canzone. Misses his spot, but great challenge. Actually, Roki was also on it. Roki won the challenge, so. All right, 2 outs. Here's Julio.
The first pitch to Julio Rodriguez. Down the chute.
Can an oversized softball glove help to increase velo? And not really. I mean, I guess maybe you add a little bit of a weight to your pull-in with your glove side. I mean, maybe, but probably not.
Did acknowledge that it is something he is aware of.
Splitter down and another splitter. So he always wants to get to his splitter. You know, it's actually funny. We were watching Peter Lambert pitch the other day, and I mentioned, oh, there's Kike. Good to see Kike back in there. Like everything was just a charade to get to the changeup. It's sort of like that with Roki. Like he loves his fastball, he loves his slider, but he just wants to get to the split. The split's unhittable, so throw as many splits as I can. Anyway, second inning here. Fastball away to Naylor. Fastball up to Naylor. That's nice. And then split. He does look comfortable. If nothing else, he looks confident in his delivery and what he's doing out there, and the conviction in which he's throwing with is so obvious compared to where he was early in the year. Also, obviously, if this is a thing, if this is actually a thing, and that glove thing was a part of him actually tipping, then obviously that's a big deal.
Right, but that's
very hittable pitch there to Cal Raleigh, but he's out early, so I guarantee he's getting off speed now. Yep, here comes the split. Too easy of a read there, so we'll see you later. Yeah.
Like that.
I mean, he was so early on this fastball, and it's 100. You're early on 100, you cannot stay back on split. So that was a pretty easy read right there and great execution. Yeah, we'll see you.
Like that.
2 outs. I mean, they didn't really change much. I mean, he's been throwing a little harder the last couple games, and he had more IVB in his 2 games in New York. Could have been a little boosted by that Citi Field wind breeze that I've talked about before, but I don't think the glove actively changed his metrics.
Against the split, so they're not listening to your scouting.
99.4.
Fastball.
And splitter down. I mean, the splitter is such a dominant pitch. And I love the adjustment he made with his grip to be able to control it better. To me, that's been the adjustment of the year for Roki. Slider strike, that and figuring out his slider, because now he has more pitches to throw for strikes. So, you know, I continue to say the same things over and over again with Roki, but they ring true every time. Slider, slider, splitter, splitter. Wilson probably hunting a heater here and just not getting it. So he waited the whole at bat for a heater and it never came. 1 out. All right, Colt Emerson. Way over the top on a slider. Here comes a split. Way over the top on that.
Mental switch for Sasaki to flip. I think
that's off the plate away, and here comes 100. So, I mean, look, the velo's there. The pitch mix is so much better than it was before. That had 17 inches on it, so that had a very good level of induced vertical break. I mean, it's just night and day from where he was early in the season. Doesn't mean he can't get beat. Doesn't mean he won't go to the bullpen later in the year when Glasnow and Snell are back. Doesn't mean any of that, but it definitely means we're improving. We're making strides. I mean, 2-0 slider. Whole bunch of things.
Another payoff.
I mean, this is a pretty good battle. A lot of good pitches here.
The 8th pitch.
End up giving up a hit. Great at bat by Cole Young. He fouled off everything before getting a pitch he could handle, which was a fastball down. Base hit there, and here is a Randy. Splitter in the dirt.
Swinging wildly.
99 coming here. Have you talked Schoolboy to the Dodgers? I mean, it could happen, of course. They have the prospects to do it, but I'm not going to like talk about what it means unless it actually happens. Once it happens, yeah, we'll talk all about that. So we'll see. Is it just me, or does he have a vertical drop on his sliders? Yeah, it's not just you. He's got a tremendous amount of vertical drop on his slider. If you look at the movement chart on his slider, the slider and the split drop about the same in terms of induced vertical break. They're all going down. In terms of actual break, overall vertical break, this is what we're working with. Total movement, vertical drop. His forkball drops 40 inches on the way to the plate on average, and the slider 38. Both of those are pretty depthy. So take that for what that's worth. Anyway, Roki. Randy gets on. All right, here's Canzone. Ball 1. Here comes a fastball.
100.1. Against the Mets at 98.
If the Brewers just do it, then they're gonna have Scooble and Miz then, and that would be pretty amazing. Thanks for the bless yous. Appreciate you guys in the chat.
That's 3. Finishes him off with the.
Anyway, there's a punch out with a splitter. This one was 93. This is a hard splitter for Roki. Canzone is not going to be able to cover that pitch. That's not what his swing is built to do. So good pitch choices there. All right, Julio, way out in front on the slider. Clearly not tipping anymore. Clearly more comfortable throwing all his pitches for strikes. And yeah, pitching with a lot of confidence. There's a split popped out. I mean, really, as many splits as he can get you to swing at, the better his results are going to be. And then a first pitch slider attempted ambush by Naylor, and that's a fly out. So a really easy 4th inning. Really easy 4th inning. 5th inning. The big dumper. Strike 1. Splitter down ball. Baseball and coffee. Maybe one day we'll get a collab with a roaster. Jim Bowden just said Brewers will not offer Mate, but they will still have enough to get it done. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't. On the poll today on the Discord, that's a nice 4-seam up in the 5th inning. Roki's just looking really good and healthy and all those types of things. I voted in the chat in the Discord today that I would not give up Mate for Scooble. I stand by that, but I would sell Cooper Pratt. I would sell some other things. So we'll see. All right, 1 out in the 5th after he destroys Cal. And now here's Rayleigh. Splitter strike again, and should probably throw it again, right? This was his worst one, but he gets away with it. The big glove just lets him stop worrying about tipping, and that makes him better. Yep, I agree with that. He's not happy with the execution of that last pitch, but I agree with you.
Wasn't thrilled with that, perhaps got away with one.
Strike 1.
Yeah, that's a sweet pitch.
Slider looped into right, little half swing there by Wilson. So base hit there, and now Emerson. Still throwing 98 out of the stretch here in the 5th. I still think Roki ends up in the back end of the bullpen along with Edwin and Scott come October, but he's improved so much as a starter. Oh, look, take it yourself. Good job by Emerson running all the way through there. Almost got him. All right, 6th inning. Back to the top, Cole Young. Strike 1.
7 runs on 10 hits. 5 of those
Splitter away. Slider down, base hit. Good swing by Cole Young. Good swing by
Cole
Cole Hung. Oh, no.
It goes all the way to the wall.
Pages, the grass monster, got him.
Young to get all the way to third base. Pages trying.
And he's going to end up going to third. What happened here?
Into right center
Looks like he
field.
half slid on purpose, but overran it. So that's a little unfortunate. Should be a single, ends up as a triple. And now Randy's going to go ahead and whack a ball in the gap on the first pitch slider, and that's going to score a run. So back-to-back hits here to start off the 6th. Now a 4-pitch walk. So the 6th inning's a little bit of a nightmare. 4-pitch walk to Canzone. All of a sudden, Dryer's getting going. Let's see how he keeps working here. First pitch, splitter down. Good swing by Julio despite him chasing a ball. Ends up lining out to Muncy. So you're surging for an out in this moment. You start spinning a little bit. He goes right to the bread and butter of the split. And he does get a line out. And now here's Naylor. Splitter chopped foul. Splitter chopped foul. And now 99. I mean, 99, pitch 85 of this game. He does give up a hit, but I'm still encouraged by what we're seeing here. So bases loaded, 1 out. And this is going to be his last batter. Cal Raleigh. Fastball up, ball. Splitter coming. So it doesn't look like the Twins are going to be trading guys like Ryan Jeffers anymore. They just bought A.J. Minter, so I don't think the Yankees will be getting Ryan Jeffers or anybody, but I guess we'll see. So he ends up walking in a run here. A little bit of an unfortunate turn of events. And he comes out a little bit less effective here in the 6th inning. I guess his 3rd time through, but I did think Roki looked really good for the beginning of this game. He did. He looked good. It's an improvement off of he's continuing to uptick. Anyway, this was his induced vertical break last night. It was 16. Obviously, 17 is more of the benchmark for him, but it's not bad. Velocity was great. Averaged 99 in this game over the course of like a 90-pitch outing or so. So I think he's looking really good. I think he's trending in the right direction. I think he's going to be a very solid starter for the Dodgers up until they probably move him to the bullpen. But night and day from where we were early in the season. And you got to give a credit to Roki, and you got to give a credit to the Dodgers and everybody else involved. Very impressive stuff. All right, it's 11:51. I have a Zoom that I have to be on in 9 minutes. So probably no more watching of games. So I'll hang out in the chat here for a minute. And then we'll go from here. Next live stream will be Monday. I'm flying to Texas on Sunday. I have a game on Monday, but I'll do the stream on Monday morning from my hotel room in Texas. So we'll do a weekend review on Monday, and that will also be probably right up on the trade deadline. So a lot of trade deadline talk from there, and then there'll be shows the remainder of the week. But this has been a good week. I'm sorry I took off yesterday, but we still got 4 streams in this week. It's been pretty good overall. Let's see what we have into the chat. When the Mystery Mobile is in town, does Scooby go out to dinner with Scooble? Yes. I'm just going to say yes. Baseball and coffee. 2 ways to get beamed. I kind of like that. That's pretty good. Yeah, I said the Discord. Don't forget to hop in the Discord. It does look like we might have some action soon. Casey Mize scratched. He's on the trade block, so Tigers looking to head that direction possibly. At least that's what the trade wins are feeling like. Is there there's a catch by PCA in the 10th of yesterday's game? I think we have time for that. Who'd the Cubs play yesterday? They played the Cardinals. We don't have a lot of time, but catching the 10th inning, I say why not? So that would have been Savali pitching, right? So it's this play right here. Man on first, 1 out, 10th inning. Crooks pops it up. Here comes PCA. He's running.
And the Cardinals have 1 out left.
What did I miss? It could be this one. It was the previous pitcher. All right, here it is. Burleson. So man on first, no outs in the 10th. Line drive. This is one of the things he's the best at, is coming in on the ball. Him and Rafaela are incredible at coming in on the ball. I mean, he just got great first step, and he's really good at getting low for these catches. So a lot of times these plays are going to rate as like 4- and 5-star plays, but he makes it look easy. So anyway, good job having me look at this play. But it's more of the same. Just a good amount of quickness from the kid. I don't think Rafael is overrated. I think he's great, but that's just my opinion. I would like to get out to Boston soon. I was invited to Baseball Isn't Boring Day at the ballpark. I might come out there for that and vlog that. We'll see. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know my status of MLB The Show cards right now, but we have some things. Good call. Kody Clemens walk-off grand slam. All right, we'll watch that real quick. There's one more thing to pull up here. That was Twins and Royals. You just never see this, and that's why this is so interesting. The old bases loaded in the ninth, 2 outs, 2 strikes, down by 3, grand slam to end the game. Matt Strahm came in the game, bases loaded, up by 3, and this is how it ends. Kody Clemens takes a sinker for a strike. This is called the ultimate grand slam. Sinker again, so it was 0-2, as I mentioned. Sinker, and then this happens.
The 0-2 from Strahm. Clemens in the air to right center field and deep.
Just a total reversal at the last conceivable second. From down 3 to up 1 walk-off winner. Matt Strahm can't believe it. Unbelievable swing by Clemens. Game over. Twins win. Ultimate grand slam. You never see anything like this. You never see anything like this. This is so crazy. This was Clemens to win it. Wonder if we have anything good from Strahm, because this is like almost unbelievable once it's hit. You're almost like, there's just no way. Oh, the old hands on the hips. So congrats to Kody Clemens and the Twins, who apparently are buyers, and they're saying they're going all in for it. So we'll find out. We'll see what happens. This should be a great weekend of baseball. And thanks for everybody hanging with me today. Let's hit the probables. As most of these series are new series that are starting up today on Fridays. They'll run through the weekend. Once again, please go over and check out episode 1 of the vlog on my YouTube channel if you're not there. Also, please like and subscribe. We're looking to get to our next goal, which is 12,000 subs on YouTube. So everybody on TikTok, if you want to come over to YouTube, that would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, next stream for Baseball and Coffee is coming up on Monday morning. All right, here are the matchups today. Will Warren, Shota Imanaga. Yankees in Wrigley tonight. Should be an electric atmosphere. Yankees and Imanaga. Will Warren, Imanaga. Pirates, Reds, Skeens, Hunter Green. Can I interest you in that? That's fantastic. Phillies, Orioles, TBA, Brandon Young. Cardinals in Toronto. Kyle Leahy, who's actually on a run right now, facing another guy on a run. Dylan Cease. I do feel bad for Noah Cameron, but that's okay. I am an announcer. Check me out on ESPN, guys. Check me out on ESPN. I have a podcast. It's just called the Baseball and Coffee Conversations. That's when we have guests on. Those get uploaded to podcast format. But you can watch back all of my streams on the YouTube channel. If you go ahead and subscribe, everything on the YouTube channel will be there. You can look through chapters of all my previous of all my previous streams and see what we were talking about. All right, we'll keep going. Diamondbacks, Guardians, Mitch Bratt and Tanner Bybee. White Sox, Rays, Eric Fetty, Nick Martinez. Marlins, Mets, Jansen Junk and Freddie Peralta. Nationals, Braves, Foster Griffin, who's been on a burner, and Bryce Elder. Rangers, Astros, great matchup here. Nasty Nate and Hunter Brown. Royals, Rockies, Waka Sugano. Maybe guys who could be traded. We'll see. Brewers, Angels, Drowan and Ryan Johnson. Tigers, A's, TBA and Jeffrey Springs. That's Mize getting scratched. Giants, Padres, Wisenhunt and Bragley Rodriguez. Red Sox, Rangers, Suarez, Engardo, Enriquez. So bullpen day for the Dodgers. Twins, Mariners, Zebby Matthews, Bryce Miller. And that concludes it. I'm going to do another vlog this week for my ESPN broadcasting trip to Texas and Milwaukee. There is the first episode's up. So go on my YouTube right now. It covers my trip to Anaheim where I did a game and Chicago where I did a game. So appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Waka Sugano AARP matchup. And I will see you guys on Monday. Thanks so much for hanging with me. Appreciate you guys so much. And we'll go over the deadline stuff on Monday and into the next week. Have a great weekend, everybody. Adios.